With that said, are we live?
Yeah, we've been live.
No, we have been live. Hi, guys. All right, so today we're doing Commercial Real Estate ReWired with Bruce Elia Jr., and this is going to be Chapter 4. We are diving into unlocking value before construction. That's going to be our main focus for today. We are going to hit this 30 minutes strong, and then we're going to open up for FAQs, questions from the audience, as well as the live chat. So if you have something and you are watching, chat it in. Adam's on that right now. He's going to report over. So look forward to hearing some comments and also hearing everybody's questions, concerns, and feedback. All right, so let's dive into it. So we're going to jump in. This is an 18-unit approved that you see behind me. This is 18 apartments, all one bedrooms, rooftop, amenities, parking, etc. This was a trolley project that we went after and we got approvals for, and we're actually now actively in the position of selling. So it's going to go towards a developer that's looking at a podium build. They're going to have some advantages with taxes and a 5-year pilot. They're also going to have some cost or value engineer, we call it, when you look at a design schematic. And Bruce, what does that mean, right? I'm going to get into it. All of this stuff has its sequence parts. It's a matter of where it is and how to understand it. Some really cool tips early on that I got is how do we move from E to P? We got to organize data. And that data that's complex, we're organizing into a simple format so that somebody can understand it and then transact. That, for you guys, will give you a transaction, it'll give you a wealth builder, it'll give you everything on the continuum if you're a principal, a broker, or maybe, let's say, an insurance broker and one of the ancillary services that facilitate a transaction. All right, so what is this? This one's in Belleville, 18 units in Belleville. Here we go, and this is where real money and real wealth is made, because what we're doing is we're creating the avenues for these communities. And it's often beginning without a shovel in the ground. It's beginning with minds and like minds like us right here that are at a table looking at a master plan. What is the master plan of the town? Now, if I'm you and I'm looking at this and I want to inject myself into what my town that I live locally in, or the neighboring abutting towns, the ones that are adjacent. Why am I saying that? Because those are the ones you're most familiar with. So you can know, maybe you know somebody there and there's a favorable transaction based on timing or terms that you could do that you can help create and advance these neighborhoods. Or get a commercial sale or something that lends itself to a relationship, and maybe it's a residential sale or something else. Okay? So before it starts, you see these plans on the screen. This is going to be the first floor. This is where you're seeing parking. So when you jump into commercial real estate and specifically into development and zoning and unlocking it before it's built, have you guys ever built a Lego set? That's my question to you.
Yes.
Okay. So I love Legos. I absolutely love it. Last one I built was just this weekend. So I'm not talking about things I don't love that I'm doing. I do these things I fucking love. And I love building, and this is where it starts. It's like getting the manual for the Lego set, except this is real life. Now, what does that mean? It means understanding everything. So as you see on the top here, you're always going to get one screen. So before you start building and you see shovels in the ground, these are the approval process that it takes. And what you're seeing is the first slide at the ground floor. This is all of our parking. Now, a couple of tidbits, because you're going to want to know this. Everything is different. When you build a deck, what if this was 2 concrete decks versus 1 deck? What would happen? Increase in cost, right? Is that cost reflective of the whole development? So we do baselines. The most attractive build for the most developers is what we call a 4/1. And that's going to be 1 concrete deck, could be block or concrete, and then 4 floors of stick above. So 1 deck of concrete and 4 floors of stick above. Say that to me, people. 1 deck with 4 floors of stick above. Because if you're saying the language that the people that are transacting and buying are, even if it's vernacular language and it's not the book and you have a textbook and you got your classes on, that's not what they want to hear. It's the same thing that they're using, which is their language. It means the same. So if you're using the same language in that context, you'll be able to go into a different realm with the developer. Okay, moving forward, savvy developers unpack these plans and they understand how value engineering of these plans work. So the next slide, we're going to go over the schematics of the entire development. But what does that mean? Well, it means that if we're looking at it from a deck perspective, so if I was to actually put a concrete deck, so visualize this in your mind, guys. Everyone in these towns has it. You have a deck, you drive your car through this, and there's apartments above. The most optimum form to transact on is because of 4 floors of stick with 1 decking, because it's the least cost to the builder. They have less decking costs, high expensive concrete costs, and they have material costs that stick instead of steel gauge or concrete, where they have to build higher, more floors, it's an extreme increase in cost. That cost may make the developer want to offer a price that's much lower or not build at all. Even if it's the most beautiful build and it's priced there, but let's say it's 9 stories and you got 3 floors of decking and it's 80 units. Most unattractive build you can get unless you have certain schematics, okay? That would mean more urban setting. Just to give you a baseline, when we're looking at 2 decks of concrete parking, the apartments above need to be at $40 a foot and above. $40 a foot and above. Write that down, guys. This is something that I'm telling you guys right now. If you understand it and you want to get into development, if it's 2 decks and you ever saw any build that's 2 decks and it's not $40 a foot and above, it's not going to work. It's a rule of thumb. Just take it right there and run with that, because then you know everything else. One decking of parking is the most opt. So all of a sudden now we're going into a development room, you found a property, you're looking into it, it is 1 deck, it is 4 floors. No, you got gold. Okay, maybe you're selling the building or maybe you're going for the plans. With these going for the plans options, we have to understand how to read them, and it starts with our parking. Our value engineering would be in this. Instead of having all brick on the exterior of the site, let's say instead of all brick, the front facing of the property so that most people can see the property, it looks beautiful. But do you ever notice the sides of the rear? The sides of the rear, they might have stucco. They might have different components of construction that are less expensive. That's what we're talking about when we value engineer. Right? So moving forward, site and the vision. This one, 18 apartment. It was 3 adjacent parcels. It was 3 commercial spaces and a 2-family. So when you look at it like that, this is technically an assemblage on 1 lot for it. However, it's 1 project. So even if you have multiple lots and blocks, you can still make it 1 project. Now, it's owned residential. Parcels are zoned for residential use. It's a multifamily component. So what you have is as of right. Something that's as of right versus what you're going to go for, let's say, asking for relief. It's like going to your parents when you were 17 years old and you had to be home at 12 o'clock. But you wanted to be home at 1 because the party didn't end there. You asked your parents for relief, right? Sometimes they said yes, and sometimes they might have said no. That's depending upon who, the parents. Parents are the master plan of the town personnel. If you think of it that simply, if you get their blessing for what it is, chances are that you can have a condition list that'll be acceptable. Okay? Walking distance to Washington Ave, the property itself. Always look, transportation is one of the big ones. So you want to know where the transportation is within that development to how to speak to that, because then it warrants, well, is there a New York City component, somebody that is going to be transporting out of this area, commuter routes, things like that. Surrounded by new growth. Whenever you see developments, just think if there's more developments all around it, it's in a development friendly area, typically. If it's not, and you see this, and this is the only one around, guys, dig deeper into that. Either that's a pioneer, or the town itself doesn't really like it, and you find out that maybe the person that developed that was somebody that was locally driven and very built into the community. That's where you see these big differences. Why? Because think about the one building in your neighborhood or the one that's around your neighborhood that has the really ridiculous amount of units or goes sky high. I can think of one. You know that building that's 8 floors or 6 floors where everything else around it's 1 floor? That's what I'm talking about. Okay, those are the differences of what we're describing. Now, surrounded by new growth is really one of the big ones. This one right here, it's a Quick Check, Starbucks, and Wawa. So it's got a very good attraction of national people, national players that are coming in. So if you're developing and you're looking at it from a sales as an agent or a developer and a principal, you're looking at it and saying, how do I sell this? What's the sizzle? You're looking at it outside of just comp and rents. Oh, that apartment was this. Yes, it was that, but where is it going? What is the trend that we have? If you don't have the trends, then you're not going to know where you're going. And if you don't know where it's been, good luck. All these components are going to come into play. Remember, parking. On something like this, 18 units, right? You would think, oh my God, how many parking spots? Are those 2 bedrooms, 1 bedrooms? This is how you value engineer sites. So on this, what we call is a unit mix. Unit mix is, what is the breakdown and the unit breakdown of what those are? So it could be 1 bedroom, studios, 2 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, who knows, maybe they're penthouse floors. In our cases, what we typically work with is studios, 1s and 2s. Now, why do we do that? Because most towns don't want to see 3-bedroom apartments. It's just one of those things that they typically favor against, unless it's more in the luxury sense. And that's gonna be one of the items we'll talk about. Okay.
So why do you think that towns prefer not having 3 bedrooms and prefer having like 2 bedrooms and whatnot?
Great question. The towns prefer not to have large amounts of 3 bedrooms because when we look at the school systems, we start looking at these apartments being more catered towards a different clientele. As you enter into the 3 bedrooms plus, it does affect the school systems, which then increases the student to teacher ratio. That student to teacher ratio in good areas is very important to keeping it as a blue ribbon. So increasing tons of units into an area without having additional schooling resources could be problematic. And that's what we account for. In this development specifically, we made it 18 1-bedroom units, so it wouldn't affect the town, would have good economics because the ratables pay for more employees and town personnel and streetscape. And on top of it, we have plenty of parking. So 1 unit, 1 bedroom, 1 parking spot. And that's where it fits into play.
So you're saying a lot of it's oriented towards the school system and them not wanting big families to move into these apartments and rather just small kind of 1-bedroom apartments are just better?
Well, there's 2 conversations.
Okay.
It depends on each town. And it's a great question that you're asking, because yes, in favorability of saying a town doesn't want to bring in tons of children because of development overpopulating the schools is one. It also gets to a point on the development side where you look at what's called the price per square foot for the rental amount. So when you're looking at it for a price per square foot on rental amount, the larger the units go, the less price per square foot you receive. The smaller the units are, the higher the price per square foot is. So that's where developers look for that perfect medium on building the temperature between the 2. So to go to a 3-bedroom, unless it's in a luxury condo front or something along the lines of that where it warrants it, you're ultimately gonna get a lot less money. And then instead, why not build 2 2-bedrooms instead of a 3-bedroom? Not to mention, let's say the town's inundated with schools, so now it's win, win, win instead of a forced loss, maybe.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I appreciate the question too. We want private balconies on each of these units. We always seek a Trelia to make sure that we're advancing communities, residents working lounge, rooftop, entrance, Amazon friendly, commuter friendly, bike, EV friendly, storage, etc. All for everybody that we work around. Our tenants are everybody. They're community members, and the people that we seek to transfer the sales to are the same thing, so we want to do it right. We always have a little fitness in there as well. That's one of the big things that we're seeing. A lot of them want a fitness. So again, just understand amenities are used 5 to 10% of the time by anybody within HOA or communities, tenancies. So if you have a building, 5 to 10% of the time it's being used. So think about it. If you live in one now, you might say, you know what, I never use the amenities or I use them all the time. Well, if you never use them, you're pretty much the 95%. But if you use them, you're the 5%. So you're the ones that we're actually catering to from the development side that like these amenities. It's also why typically they like gyms like that, because it's a personal home gym. People want that more experienced home gym versus the larger ones. They love buildings. Just last time in Communipol, we saw 4 or 5 people working out. There's a couple of gyms, big ones, right, local. They prefer to work out by themselves, a little more local, intimate, and they get the same job done. So for that, we're changing these buildings.
Also, you can add to the property and the value of how much that property is worth, or like that rent is, because you have things like that, the gym, the amenities, and then people might not use them, but the people that use them are paying a little extra for that, right?
Yeah, well said, Adam.
Okay.
Yeah, so what Adam was pointing out is that we can get higher rents with the amenities, even if you're not using them. I think a nominal cost warrants a very high return with an amenity building. Because here's the thing, most of the time, and you can think about it yourself, your friends, wherever you're going, family members, all of a sudden they move into a new building, got great amenities, right? Like, come over. All of a sudden they come through, the lobby looks beautiful, you're walking through, they see a gym, elevator, smells, they got a nice Febreze in there, everything's really good. That's really what most of the statistics show that people want. It's actually the feeling as they go through versus the utilization of it, which is very, very interesting. So if you look at this and you're saying, no, I'm the opposite, I'm actually the one that does use it. Well, that's awesome. So that's what they want, but most people don't. Most people actually just want the feeling that's attributed to being in that location, in that building with that. Sitting in the chair, no different than sitting in this chair right here. You follow? It's the same type of thing. Sitting in a working residence space with a couple of extra cords that connect in the middle, you back to backs like you're at an Apple store. A little different, right? Makes the big difference. Because when people glance at it and they see it, they perceive it. And once you perceive something, it's your reality. Plain and simple.
It's prestigious.
It's prestigious and it's perception. So the difference between perception and reality might be is that the machine might not work. You follow me? Now, at practicality, it tells me the machine works great. You know, it's not about that. But the reality is that it could look great and not work. It's like a film set. You ever been to a film set where they built out some of the interiors of the films? It's crazy. You grab the door handle to turn it, doesn't turn. You follow? The door is supposed to open, it's a piece of cardboard. You know? That also looks the same. So what we see is we try to make sure we incorporate it, but it's more visually than it isn't. Moving forward, land banking to land packaging. So land banking stage, there are 7 steps on the land development continuum. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then there's 8 tasks that are below, each one of them. 56 step matrix development. First step is land acquisition and land banking. What does that mean? It means maybe you own a property. Maybe you guys are property owners, inherited it, family, friends, or maybe you found one that you want to buy. This is that land banking stage. It's the first process of any development, first process of commercial, if you're looking at any feasibility of the market studies, you know, new rental amounts, you're looking at a new area. What do we do here? We acquire the property and then we position it for future development. This is going to be one of those properties where you're saying, can I, could I want to? And that's going to be where you're seeing, is this potential? That's where I say, go to the NJ property records, check out what the zone is, make sure you understand what it is, go to chat, figure out in chat, look for a feasibility, use this prompt. And I'm going to teach you guys right now, use this prompt. Give me the feasibility for apartment and townhouses in blah, 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 town.
Say that one more time, but slower.
Okay. Give me the feasibility for XYZ, single families, multifamilies, townhouses, whatever you want to insert in there, in Fort Lee, New Jersey, in Durham, New Hampshire, in Boca Raton, Florida, in Boise, Idaho. Doesn't matter where you are. The whole point is that AI system is going to scrape and it's going to give you a configuration. I want you guys to be armed with this. This is just general knowledge. You have to take this further and see. But then once you're going through that, the second prompt that I'd ask you guys to do if you're going to look for developments or just looking at any bit of commercial, because if you're valuing a commercial asset, let's say somebody calls you George and they have a 15,000 square foot warehouse building. Hey George, I got to sell this on 2 acres. Well, great. George knows commercial real estate, so he's going to make sure price per square foot, income and analysis, and what do? Boom, dirt to dollars, the development aspect. It's the one that everybody leaves out. It's so confusing, so complex, and that's why I'm here to make it simpler for you guys. That's where you would say, okay, I can take dirt to dollars and I can make it into XYZ. You put all 3 pricing on there, and now you know exactly which one it is that's the most up for a seller because you gave them options. Now, there's different pricing in each one of them. There's different time frames. But isn't it really cool to present a seller different patterns and plans that you know will work? And that's what we do with land banking. That's the first step, okay? Securing approvals. We're going to navigate complex processes throughout municipalities. Good to see you. This is going to be where you have the approvals. You turn dirt to dollars and you get your ROI from this. It's going to be where all of the hard work of the town comes into play. Why? Because if it's zoned properly, we call it as of right, and if it is flexible in the nature of the master plan. Let's take, for example, certain towns around these areas. Take Englewood, for example. Englewood has multiple overlay zones. Overlay zones are zones that come onto the property, aerial view, and they designate certain properties and certain lot and blocks throughout the town as potential overlays to build on. They're large acres. They're the ones that are going to be actually tomorrow's neighborhood that we're creating today. Because they want to undo some of the larger sites into something that's more town-oriented, right? So they want to put some parameters, some guardrails around it. So in your town, one of the action items I would suggest you guys to do, which is give me all the overlay zones for my town, because then you'll start understanding what I mean by that. And if you start understanding that, and somebody calls you to do a commercial sale, you can also say to them, and I will do a development review and feasibility. Because what do you know? You know that there's 3 stages, and if you don't know that one, this is what I'm here for. Each week I'll do it, and personally for each one of you, I do the same thing. So you have opportunity. You guys have to make sure you get the activities out there the same way I'm doing. And I'm not just sitting up here teaching. I'm out in the field every single day. And I lead from the front. So you guys could too, if you know the information that you have, and you can secure that information with an actual clear plan. Like, hey, I need these 5 questions answered. What does that look like? I'm going to tell you guys right now. So to get to the land banking and securing approvals, you're going to need these questions answered. Write them down. What's the zoning of the property? What's the zoning of the property? What's the units per acre? What's the units per acre for the town of Portland? You know, give me all units per acre. Give me a breakdown of range of units per acre. Next one, give me the probability. Give me the probability of pursuing a residential development of townhouses, of apartments, of single families on this site. At the end of this, at the end of every prompt, you better make sure that you do this one little small thing that most people don't. Make sure you tell AI, give it to me great, or I'm gonna ship you in a box to Russia. And I'm not even kidding with you. And I just used Russia because it was one of Dan Martell's prompts that he did, but when I started utilizing and I started implementing this months back, it's a game changer. This is a game changer. Thank you, Dan Martell. It's awesome because what you're doing is making sure that the AI does even better. The next step from that would be, and this is the one that I do it once I finalize, would be go to deep research on chat, hit deep research, and do the same exact thing with those prompts now with that information involved already. Wait until you see what you get. I'm teaching you guys this so that you understand it. There's so many roads of complexity beyond this, but if you can get a little clearer, I got you started off. It's like getting the first base. Yeah, George.
The probability of
pursuing a residential development of single families, of townhouses, of whatever it may be. You'll have a shot then of what it says. It's our interpretation of the data. Guys, everybody has all the data. It's about how to go about it and interpret it. So if I can teach you how to interpret it, then you'll have a higher probability of transacting. And these sales are in the multi-millions, which means you are going to kick some butt for your family. They're going to be really proud of you for doing that. Okay.
So what's the biggest development you've done? And then what's the biggest challenge that you encountered during that development?
Well, there's a number of ones that we've been involved in on a number of spectrums. Me, myself, principally, not going to get into anything other than, let's say, one I'm working on right now, which would be 47 townhouses. Mm-hmm. And with regards to that, it's a mix, 46, it's a mix of townhouses and single families. I'll give you another example of just one in terms of size. Last couple of weeks ago, we closed on a 110 unit multifamily podium with mixed use, phenomenal property. And these are the unit counts. We typically are, up to a couple hundred or into a couple of thousands. We are actively searching for larger sites and doing different JV relationships that we have with Trelia for these companies to be able to solutionize for them in terms of their properties, positioning with us. We untap that dirt to dollars, and for us and for them, it's a true win-win-win. And that's an excellent opportunity that we've been exploring as well. Yeah, appreciate you sharing that out. So guys, reducing uncertainty. What we got to do is, very simply put, de-risk the site and increase its value. How do you do that? Well, this is the hard part. This is where a team comes in. You're going to notice that there's so many different disciplines to land development. And I say that too because one person doing all of this is like having every disc, the DISC, every disc profile in one. It's impossible. You can't have all the disciplines, or maybe most people would never have all the disciplines. For that, it takes a team, and that's going to be where you have individuals like myself within our office, within all different BCP or New Jersey. There's other people I can connect you with outside of these areas. But these are the people that should make up some of your commercial business, and that's going to be a key component to you and your commercial growth, especially in land development. So guys, what I'm saying to you is that you can't talk to enough people because somebody knows somebody that has one of these sites. If you do one of these sites, or if you don't and you get connected with somebody else that's on the commercial front, what I am teaching you is so high level and above what's going on that you'll separate yourself. If you take 5 or 10%, you just keep showing up every single day, by the time you do this in a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, you'll be a different human being injecting this information out there, and people will take you very serious. They're gonna wanna work with you because you're knowledgeable, you're friendly, you're smart. So all you have to do is push past the needle of this one little thing, which is understanding a continuum. Moving ahead, reducing uncertainty means we have to get to the meeting. So what we do in uncertainty with approvals before these are built is we're talking to the towns. Guys, we're in meetings. You see me in Zooms constantly with towns. Why? We're talking with them. We're favorable towards what's their master plan. Who is John's condition list that he wants to make sure, because that town's different than this town. What do they need? Are they missing a fire station and this site is big enough where we gotta add a fire station on there? Or do we need a park? This is what I'm talking about. It's not just throwing units up. This is advancing communities. And that's why we take it so serious, and you should too, which is start becoming friends with people in your town's borough. If you guys don't know who's on the planning board, the zoning boards of your town, know who that is, because it may be the local bakery owner. It may be your cousin that you didn't even know. My cousin was on a local board. I didn't even know until a year after. You follow? Shame on me, right? I should know that. You know, we weren't going for approvals in the town and we weren't building there, but the point being is that you should know this. I have to do a better job at it. All of you guys need to do a better job. Correct. And the last is packaging the site. So this week, what's today's date? 17th. Tomorrow we're in front of a town, local town, for 21 apartments. Right there, ready to go on the 18th, right? This is the stage that we're talking to. So all of what I just described to you guys, our entire team did, and now we're at the point where we're submitting what's called a formal application, okay? Just so you guys know, write this down. When you submit any development, the first thing that you get is an initial denial. You know how many people I've had come to me and say, oh my God, the initial denial, I'm denied. Like, guys, you obviously never did a development before. But not, let's put that aside and let's start talking about, which is, if you are gonna react like this every time you get one little ding towards you, development's not for you guys. Neither is commercial.
So get used to rejection.
Not even just rejection, resilience. Guys, what stands in the way becomes the way. If you're trying to do this, guys, you're gonna eject and pull the parachute way quicker than anyone I know, unless you have a little bit of a stern back and a shell. You can tell I have it, obviously do. And I do that because I wasn't always like this. I was nice, but I realized is that they don't want nice guys, they want good guys, good girls, that do great projects. Yes, I'm nice in my nature because of that. Same with you guys and everyone in this room. But don't think you have to put on these different caps. Just think, I gotta be me, advance this community, here's our vision, does the town agree, does it not agree, and what's the probability of this occurring? Why? Because I meet and I coach so many agents that are like, I got these deals, 3 million, 5.8, they never come due. They never come due. They have no idea how to get it to the point of where it is. Development, one item will shut you down. One.
What do you mean by one item?
I.e., let's say that you have monitoring wells on your site. We sold the site, we had to remediate. How do you go about that if you don't have the right team? That's one item. Now, we had the right team and we had the right place, but not everyone does. If we were in a position where it wasn't, maybe it's different. That's one item. Just monitoring wells, just environmental. Let's say that there was multiple leases on a property, guys. You're selling a property for development, you need development contingency clauses in those leases. Because I'm going through this right now on sites. We have to understand, well, when's this lease due? Is there a development contingency? Do we have to buy you out? Where are we? Right? Can't kick a tenant out. Sneak, you have a lease, right? Who's going to tell you to leave? I'm running my business. I have a lease here. You know what? You got 2 years left. Hey, why don't we buy you out? Give you 75% of that money if you left next month. Follow me? She might say, huh? Works out for the development, works out for the developer, works out for the town, works out for her. Do you see that? On our wall right here, we see it. Win-win or no deal. Guys, win-win or no deal. I will walk away from any deal if it's not a win-win-win. You guys know that, especially the ones that I've worked with. If it's not and you're not creating that, you're not gonna get the people to come back to you. What happens is that when you do real estate deals or you're in this field, people are gonna wanna come back to you if you did them right. They actually never forget you. the biggest amount of money usually they're transferring, you know, when they wire that first deposit in, you know. It's a big amount, guys. You know, I don't know. Do you guys wire those amounts every day? I don't know. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But for most people, it is. So when you're bringing them through these things, especially commercial, you are their go-to. You're the go-to for anything to do with that. I get calls. Who should I call for an elevator, Bruce? Dan, you're calling me for the elevator servicing? Yeah, I figured you got a great elevator guy. I do. You can pass it along. But you're their go-to for everything. And that's what you want to be, because then the next time they got another project, or they have a building to sell, or they want to lease their niece's condo out. Hey George, do you lease condos? Yeah, my nephew has a condo. I know you do commercial and residential. But do you lease condos? Yeah, I do, because you built that business up with them. Always remember, you can go from commercial to residential like that. Commercial to residential like that, but you will never go from residential to commercial like that. So in commercial, people will come to me right now, Bruce, I need to sell my house, I want to sell this. Great. When I'm residential, not one person comes to me and says, Bruce, can you sell my commercial building that's 20,000 square feet? Why would they? What you're doing is you're moving from residential agent to commercial broker. I say that every time, residential agent. I was a residential agent into a commercial broker, you guys too. It's more about your mindset towards what you want to focus on. I want to be the ones to help you bridge that gap, because when this office is more dominant, sharper agents, and you guys are making more and changing the lives of your families, what do you think is going to happen to the office and to our market share? It's going to skyrocket. Okay? We're not in this vision for a year, 3 years, 5 years. We've got 10-year visions. We've got longer term things involved. So we want to connect those dots with you guys, with everything that we're doing. Because if you did one of these projects in the next 5 years, your life changes. Just one. I promote that. It's like winning a lottery ticket if you can put it together properly. So if you guys want to advance it and help your families out and be awesome freaking people in this world, create the communities around you, find the big sites, figure it out, come to me. I'll give you advice, or I'll partner with you guys. Or we'll sell it, or we'll buy it. There's ways that you guys have that. I'm sharing this with you all because it's right here for the taking. Okay? And then packaging it together and getting it approved. Most meetings, sometimes it takes more than one meeting. Smaller amounts of units, a little less. Larger amount. I mean, shoot, we've had people come together with coalition groups within neighborhoods to try to stop our development and do all these different things. We also had so many people come out and say, guys, you don't even know who these people are. Let me tell you about our site over here. They made this building and this block into what it is now. My child goes to the daycare that they put in with that mixed use. Guys, woo, woo, woo. And we have the other people fighting for us. So you gotta understand, we're building the advancement of communities, but we're gonna get people that are not advancing, more traditional, which we respect and we love because we understand it. And we also wanna make sure that there's a hybrid in between for the new youth that are coming into the world, because we gotta carve spaces out for them too. And that's part of what we do. We have to throttle the old, bring in the new, and take care of you and I. And that's literally everything.
I have a question.
So, yeah.
Bruce. Like, when someone says no, like, do you hear no, or do you just think like, okay, how do I work around this? Like,
The word no doesn't,
that's how I
exist in
feel.
our
It
dictionary.
just doesn't exist around it.
It just doesn't exist. What I do say is that it's not a no. So never ever quit is my motto. I grew up with that in my kitchen, my dad right there on a rock. And you don't quit, you pivot. So it's not about quitting. I'm not gonna quit anything, nor should you guys, but I'll pivot within it once I got enough intelligence. Like i.e., if I found out new information, why would I go back to the old information and do it that way? Chances are you wouldn't. It's like the Apple update in your phone. We can send video messages now. Prior, we couldn't send video messages. So now if you had video messaging and then you, I want a new phone. I don't want any messaging. I don't want any of this new stuff. You would never say that, right? You would always incorporate the new. And that's what we're trying to get a disconnect on and push towards what today's day and age is. What do we need? Jay, what does Jay need? You know, what does Andre need? Those things. And they're bigger because the community itself, they're looking at that and saying, what do you need? They're saying, what does Jay need? So if we say it and we deconstruct it backwards, we're saying, what does Jay need? What does Andre need? Most of the time you find alignment. And that's where I'm saying to you guys, this is a science towards what we're doing. You guys can be good people in that same light and show value within the town town, become friends and with personnel, you'll have that same position yourself.
So, you mentioned last week when we were talking, you said that you only have one shot sometimes, so like make that shot really close. Like if you're like deer hunting, you're literally just trying to make that deer walk right up to you so the rifle's right in front of its face. So with that same approach, with the planning, are you kind of in that position where you're like, I'm gonna gather all my information to make sure that this shot that I take is as precise as possible, I reevaluate, reroute, and you're in the best position to succeed? Kind of that.
Great question.
Yeah.
Really helpful. So yeah, in essence, that's what we promote. We don't want to have a shotgun, we want to have a sniper. The reason being is because we have a higher probability. Guys, the amount of time, energy, effort, money, and resources put into these are almost endless. So we have to be a sniper than we are a shotgun. Now, what does that look like? It means that if we have conditions on a list that the town wants to see, but they don't want us to go too far, i.e., let's say that we want to put 100 units on it, they want 60. Most of the conversations that we have with towns aren't, because that is what traditional builders do. And that's what differentiates us. And Adam, what you're talking about is also the COA component. So a COA component is the affordable housing. It's the component of affordable housing. So what does that mean? New Jersey, typically you'll see towns 15% if it's rentals, 20% if it's sales. Okay? It's pretty standard in the state of New Jersey. Changes per town, so make sure you're specific. But with that said, as you're going into those stages, you're expanding the community, giving chances to hardworking individuals that were priced out with that component. I'm not sure if I answered it fully.
Yeah, absolutely. And just quickly, I think we're gonna open.
Yeah, open up to Q&A.
soon, so.
Yep. All right, so just getting into some Q&A after this. Again, 18 units inside the building, show some renderings. This is what we do. We bring it to life with that, and we allow the town to start feeling it, tasting it. We hand out things. It's more receptive. People are more willing to want to go with you once they know you put a lot of work, time, energy, and money into it. Because why would we do it if we didn't really believe in it? And we all of a sudden make sure the town believes in it to some degree. You know, there's always going to be people that fight against you, and that's okay. And some say no, and some say yes. That's why it's awesome to be free, right? We can all say and give our opinions. So with that said, just know as long as I can favor the opinion to be higher in good faith, in honesty and integrity, chances are pretty high I've got a good site here. You know, and that means to you, Mr. Seller, that means I got a builder that'll build this. Your legacy of your name's gonna be on that building if you want it. You know, we create neighborhoods where you can make the street names. So if you're one of our shareholders, you ever had one of those ideas, you never know. So with you guys, if you wanted your name on a street or something like that, that's the way that you go about it. You ever seen that in reality? The name's on the street. Well, one of my visions and my dreams has always been to have the same thing. So I encourage everyone else, you guys are as crazy as I am and want that same type of feeling in this world to be able to change it on a macro level. Man, put it in your mind that you want one of the streets to be named after you. You know? So, and again, is it silly? Is it all this? Maybe it's egotistical. I don't call it whatever you want. You know, that's fine with me. I don't care. I thought it was cool. You know, whatever it is. I encourage everyone to do the same. So if we can have it Neville way, I would love it. You know, so it's not exclusive, but that's what I mean. You know, imagine that. Can you imagine yourselves one day waking up and saying, driving your child or driving someone to the street that you named for that child, for that person, and then they see it in existence, and then the garage door goes up and the person walks out and they're smiling. You see the kid run out to hug with the dad before he goes to work. Guys, are we kidding? This is the most beautiful thing in the world. Just by that. And all of a sudden you can go back. So things like that I'm personally connected to. I want to transfer that emotion and that knowledge to all of you guys to be able to get some of that into your life. If you're interested in it, this is what we do, man. Untap it. Figure it out. Give you quick action steps. Totally sidetracked, and I'll open it up, and I'm going in. Right now, we're teaching our GPS and our 411s to everybody. I'm just going through this with Jay right now. If you want to get involved into the commercial side, you're going to have to go where the commercial people go. So where do they go? Land development meetings are number one. I spent 2 years at land developments. 2 years at land development meetings. 2-3 days a week. I didn't get $1 and I didn't give a shit. You know why? I met every freaking person and every flippin' individual that I needed to in order for the next set of the goals to. Where is that person for you guys? Where is the Avenue? Where's the Intramural Club? Where is the Cigar Lounge? Which I love, and shout out to PBD and Mario for the Cigar Lounge down there. Those same connection points. The people that you want to be around that are like-minded, that are growing, and in the future, when you see them in a year, 3 years, 5 years from now, how can we still continue to do business? What does that look like? So that's what we're going to. I'll open it up into some questions. The slide deck will be available today. Thank you for the patience. We had morning meetings I could not avoid. They're on part of what I'm teaching in Trelia. So practice what you preach, but next week we'll be back on track with everything. So opening up the floor.
Thank you.
Neville, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you.
Yes, I appreciate you. Bye.
We'll open up the floor to anybody. Keep some slides. We can ask about this.
The slide deck, if you guys don't have the slide deck, on the link of Bruce's YouTube channel, there's a link to the Google Drive. That's 4 weeks. The PDFs are gonna be on there. If you wanna get a little recap, just, but yeah, always consistently, just check the YouTube link. Or if you got an email from us, if you're part of the KW City Views office, you got an email from me, which has the PDF of these slide decks. But yeah, so now Q&A, any questions for Bruce?
Adam, appreciate you sharing that. Guys, wealth of knowledge. When you see him, when you get the slide decks, thank him. He does so much extra for everybody, so just please make sure that you do that, especially when you're communicating with him.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
Okay, so what do we got?
So you know how you're saying to get to know these people, right?
Yep.
Like, I would say would you suggest, because I always feel like you have to like give something to get something, right? Like showing up
It's
like
a
a bag
great
of
book,
bagels,
too.
cream cheese, like, hi guys.
Did you read that book, Give to Get?
No, this is a book.
I actually have it in the back. Yeah,
Oh,
it's great.
really? Because I'm actually applying that myself. Like, I make coquito and I go to these small businesses that I've known, Pizzeria, gym, and I'm dropping it off. Hey, I'm in this, and by the way, here's coquito, they love it, and here's some business cards, and they're putting it in there. So I think that's the, human psychology, instead of just shoving business cards, here I'm bringing something, right? I'm bringing something useful to you. So I'm bringing like, drop some bagels, cream cheese, something like, make yourself different versus Asians going there with your cards. Here.
We seem to be doing a good job. Keep doing that. The differentiating factor is where people will say, I like that person, let me use them.
Yeah.
In developments, I know we speak about, this gets complex, but the simplicity of just literally adding some value to somebody else's life and going out there and asking for business is.
Because they can know someone, right? So that's how I look at it, right? Like that pizzeria owner can, know like, you're close to, I don't know. So that's how I look at it. Like I just treat everyone
Well
golden.
received. Where are you at with commercial and doing that same thing?
So I think I spoke to you about this property that he's interested in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
so
happened with
he actually reached out to me, so but wants to meet after the holidays. So I'm getting this, it's happening a lot with prospects, or no, this was actually a lead. After the holidays, they're telling me after the holidays, I don't wanna do anything right now, so.
Gotta love that comment. Listen, if you need permission to coach you real quick.
Yeah, please do.
Okay, guys, if you're getting the holiday buzz of, I'm waiting till after the holidays, here's a quick one that you can inject immediately. The thinking is that you're gonna have to go quantity over quality at this point, okay? So when I was on Wall Street, we had a 400 call a day, 425 calls a day, every freaking day, every day. And they'd had an auto dialer that literally told you how many you did. Now, here's the thing I realized with connecting the dots is, no matter what you did that day, as long as you dialed 400 plus numbers, you had business. Every single time. I don't think I went one day where somebody wouldn't do it because of 400 plus conversations. Now, almost impossible, many of them 10 seconds, 5 seconds to no seconds, but the people that you got on there. So right now, your quality over quantity, which is, hey, if I sold your house in a week, like listing wise, if I sold your house in a week, where are you moving to? Oh, I got the holidays. No, I get that. I get it. And it could be the day after Christmas. So where are you moving to? Well, because after Christmas, everyone's going to say New Year's and the new you, right?
Yeah.
So I want to get a jump start. Where are we moving you to?
Wow, that's really, I
Just
never
get
even
them
thought
pivot
of
right
that.
off of I'm waiting to where are we moving to. And if you position where the motivation is, you're going to get them to then think, okay, there. And if you can connect dots and be a great salesperson by adding value in each of those steps, you'll get them clarity to be able to get to their next destination.
So how about somebody that's selling, like we had gone over the building that, but property?
Building you discussed, yeah, that sounds like he's retiring.
Well, he's 75, I would hope he'd wanna retire.
Well, 75 is not retirement age these days. You know, I don't know, I'm working with 82 and 83-year-olds,
Really?
some of my best friends and my business partners. Absolutely.
Okay.
And he's got more energy than I do. I don't even know how it's possible. I'm talking the truth. I'm saying 82, 83, these guys out here. Energy is on fire. I'm like, oh man, I better be preparing my life. I'm going 96. All right, let's go. I gotta make sure I'm
Talk
good.
about the
Oh my
PVD,
God.
PVD, this guy on YouTube, if you guys don't know him, Patrick Bet David.
Oh, yeah.
He owns Valuetainment.
Patrick what?
Patrick Bet
Bet-David.
David.
Okay.
So he owns Valuetainment, this big company. He's worth about, I don't know, a couple $100 million. And he was talking about, right now he's 50, he's talking about, or he's about 48, he's talking about his next,
47.
he's 47?
Yeah.
And he's talking about his next 40-year plan. So he's like,
40?
40 years.
So he's
he's
on a
planning
40-year
on,
run.
he's planning on going.
I love it. Shout out to
planning on
you,
going
Mario.
to 87.
Made us
So-
citizens.
Wow.
Yeah, when these guys are thinking, they're thinking in like you can't be thinking in like a year, like especially if you're a developer or commercial real estate, stuff like this. This is just what I recognize from Bruce. Stuff like this takes a lot of time, and a lot of these people's game plans are longer than a year. They're thinking in decades, and that's why these people who are older, compounding growth is what occurs, and that's exactly what we're trying to show. And I think Bruce kind of highlights every day to me that this stuff takes time.
I'll
So
set out.
yeah,
I don't
That's
get it.
great.
Yeah, what he's relaying is exactly that. I want you guys to understand, either flush out of this and just do some commercial regular sales, 1 to 5 million, or step up into an arena where you'll make a commitment where one day I'm gonna have one of these buildings, one day I'm gonna be either a partner in the building, sell the building, lease it out, sell all the units, because it won't take you much more time or energy or effort to do this one thing than it will the other. So what I'm saying to you guys is, figured out a way to multiply the listing count. So if you want to go on listing appointments, get a development that has one, that you secure a transaction, that has 10 townhouses behind it. Get 10 listing appointments then, that are solid. Why are we doing that? Because guys, think smarter, not harder. Think smarter, not harder. If people implement this, I focus on this, we focus on this, our team focuses every single day, is how do we hit the first domino, the first one, to then hit the 1,000th domino. Now, if you guys don't have clarity around that, you can talk with me, you can talk with leadership. Let's get a year, 3-year, 5-year plan going for what it looks like. And if you're scared to interact in yourself with a self-analysis in that format, I'm gonna encourage you to get to flip uncomfortable with yourself. Because let me tell you, it's on the other side of uncomfortability. Fucking world of peace, man. The world of focus and clarity. It's a totally different feeling. If everyone got there and we made everyone smarter, wealthier, and more apt to do deals, what does your business look like when you're not worried about money, you're worried about helping the people that you love helping? What does your business look like?
I think you're gonna do very well.
Chances are you're gonna freaking kick ass and take names and probably do 2, 3, 5 times as much business because of the mindset wrapping around it. So that's what we wanna do. I take this very seriously. I wanna make sure everybody here gets one. That's my goal. My goal in the office is to teach everyone, let's get one. Because if everyone got one here, do you know what our market share in the office would look like? You follow me? So one of the things I'm methodical about is making sure everyone in this office can do one. Now, what does it look like? It looks like this. I'll give you an example. 10 townhouses, one $2 million acquisition deal, 10, $12 million listings deal, 5 referrals probably throughout a 12-month period of time on how did you get that and what happens. That's the science behind this business. Just told you right there. Why? It happens every single time. Why do you think developers in your marketplace, like Cliffside Park duplexes, oh, I got another one? It's because the neighbor's outside going, hey, I like him. Hey, Jen, are we selling? Now! Month later, it's cold. I don't like this. The daughter moved to Florida. Jen! Are we selling? Yes, Paul. Find someone. And then they'll go talk to the builder. And they'll go talk to him. Hey, I saw you bought that one and built it. You want to buy this one too? We want to get there before that. That's what happens. And that's exactly what we're creating is the go-to for you guys as agents to be land brokers, because then you're the one that's involved in that. You're the one that gets the call. And over enough time, you're going to have other people in this industry call you for the same thing. Why? You're the highest level of expert, or you're at least a little bit better than them, and you can guide them. So in commercial real estate, think we can sell deals, you can come to me all the time for any help, or you can give textbooks and CCIM courses very easily. But I'm gonna teach you the nitty-gritty, because if you can know this stuff, everything else is so simple. So simple. So stay locked in. Any questions outside of that? Were we, questions? What's somebody working on? George, what are we gonna work on now after today?
Already missed on.
I see it in your eyes.
Go to your YouTube page and catch up on what I missed on.
Cool. Adam, if we could, when we send out some slides, maybe we'll send out the ebook.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that's a good place. So,
Yeah.
if you guys want Bruce's commercial real estate ebook, it's like,
Oh, let's do the offer. First, you have to follow us on YouTube. If you guys follow us on YouTube.
Is it red zone, right?
No, it's Bruce Elia Jr.
yes.
If you follow us on YouTube, you'll see the content. We're trying to get this thing to 10,000 subs and then 100,000 subs and then 1 million subs. Right now, we're on the very first phase of getting it to over 100. So we say that humbly,
What is it?
hungry and smart.
It's Bruce Elia, or I'll write it down on here and then,
We put out content
Bruce
every single
Elia
week.
Jr.
There's gonna be beyond the builds that we do weekly. You'll see all the developments that we're doing. You can check out the ones that we have now. I think we're on